The greatest tragedy of our lives is not that we don't know who we are, is that we spend our entire lives asking everyone else that question instead of asking ourselves. When we go into the world, we hope that the world will show us who we really are. And when it doesn't, we become who we think the world wants us to be. All our lives, we chase things because we think that those things will show us who we really are. We chase careers, success, status, relationships, recognition, thinking that those things will show us who we really are. Now, if I ask you right now, who are you? Most of us would answer with labels. I am an engineer. I am a mother, a father, a son, a student. But that's not who you really are. Those are things that you call yourself. Those are things that you do. They are your identity. And it's good to have an identity. But you are not your identity. And I think that if we really want to answer the question of who we really are, we must go deeper inside ourselves. And when you go deeper, you realize that you did not begin with yourself. You began with family. You began with your parents. You had a childhood that shaped you. And you inherited things. You inherited more than just your name. You inherited your traditions, values, morals, a way of living, way of speaking. And somewhere inside of you, your ancestors still live on. Maybe not physically, but they still live on in the way that you operate, in the way that you still have those things that they left you. But I think we can go even deeper than that. And when we go even deeper than that, we see that there are generations of us that came before us. That is culture. Culture is not just food or festivals. Culture is much deeper than that. Culture is languages, values, traditions, way of being. I guess culture is the way that you see the world, the way that the world shows it to you. But you are not your family, you are not your culture. There is even more inside of you. There's even more that has shaped you. You know, the ancient philosophers said that all of learning is innate, that you are born with it. But as you go through life, you start remembering the things that you know. As we are born, we don't remember anything. But when we go through life, we recollect everything that you were already born with, that you already knew. And from there, we realize that we have been shaped by our lives. That our lives have been a force that have shaped us. Think of the place where you grew up. Think of the people that you grew up around, people who you grew up with. Think of every relationship you had, every teacher you met, every book you read, every movie you watched. All those activities have shaped you in some way or the other, and life has carved you out from piece to piece, only keeping the most honest parts of you alive. Some moments in your life have hardened you. Some moments in your life have softened you. But all of it has made you who you are. But you are not your family. You are not your culture. You are not your life. You are not your experiences. Then that one question still remains. Who am I? And I have been thinking about this question a lot lately. And I thought coming out here, I wanted to discuss this with you. Because we live in a time where we are almost all the time in the presence of something. It's work, or friends, or people, or music, or YouTube, or opinions. But you are never really by yourself. You are never really giving the time to spend just by yourself. And if you don't spend that time with yourself, if you don't spend time discovering who you are, then how would you even know who you are? How would you ever come to know that this is who you are? It's actually quite interesting because in every spiritual tradition, there is a value given to solitude. If you think of the Buddha sat under a tree by himself. Jesus withdrew into the forests, into the wilderness. The Hindu sages sat under a tree sometime in the forest and they meditated. If you think of the Stoics practiced daily examination, daily self-examination. And I think that this is because all cultures who are actually different, these are different cultures, different religions, different times, different places, have all discovered the importance of spending time with yourself, of discovering and answering the question of who you are. And that question is only answered by sitting with yourself. And I think this is a practice that we don't do enough of. You know, at first, when you sit by yourself, it is a little difficult because all at once, all the noise comes to you and it surrounds you and it tries to overwhelm you. But don't let it overwhelm you. Be not afraid of it. Give it more time and just sit with it. Because when you sit with it, eventually all the noise goes away. All the voices, all the noises, everything just goes away and everything quiets down. And when that happens, only one voice remains. And that voice is your own. It is you. You realize that the deepest part of yourself was not something that you had to build. You realize that it was something that you had to discover. Modern society always tells us that we need to create ourselves, that we need to create our identity. But the ancient wisdom has always told us that we need to discover who we are. And that is why, even though every journey is different, and sometimes you may feel like you have lost yourself, I think that we really need to sit with ourselves and we need to introspect, because I think we are quite lost in many ways. But we don't have to remain that way. Remember that you are not just who you tell yourself you are. You are more than that. You are part of a bigger plan. And that is why keep sitting with yourself daily and finding out who you are. Every day you learn something new about yourself. And keep remembering where you came from, because those are the things that help you on the journey. They help you get a little bit less lost. And I feel like when we grow up our whole lives, we always ponder on the question of who do I want to become? But I think now we have come to a realization that we must ask ourselves who I really am. I wish you luck on your path, and I hope it's a peaceful journey. I'll see you next time. Bye.